Hey guys, welcome to Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. This is another episode hosted by yours truly, James Winter Smith. And today we're going to take a look at all of the stuff that I've acquired in about a month's time during Cerebus Month, which is now over. That was a fun little time there, but back to business. Let's focus on other things while we're in the new frame of mind after April Fool's Day. I hope you had a nice April Fool's Day and nobody made a fool out of you. Well, let's take a look. Our very first thing that we're going to look at is something I got in the mail by a member of the group. This is Riley the Teenage Bigfoot by Jeff Manley. These are primo funny. These are great stuff. Each one of these comics is a one page gag, which is actually trickier than you'd think. Now, what Jeffrey manages to do is make it consistently funny. Occasionally, there'll be one where you have to really think about it, like when you read a Far Side cartoon. Like you're like, why does this work? You know, but I think that might just be my age. I'm a little out of touch, and a lot of the jokes are drug culture jokes, which I am not a drug addict. I've never smoked weed, and maybe if I did, I'd probably get these jokes like more, but the overall they're pretty funny. So there are two main books so far. That was book one, and this is volume two. So as you can see, here's the insides. They're a little hard to keep open with the one arm, so just give you a little flip through here. So there's two main books. So if you read those, you should actually get a third volume. This is Riley, a Teenage Bigfoot, now safe for kids. Now, if you take those first two volumes there, and you've actually read those, this is going to make a lot more sense. This is basically the jokes that are in those other books reworked and made age appropriate. And they're just fantastically done. It's one of those books that you have to read the other ones to enjoy it. At least I think so. Maybe you could read this and still get a laugh out of it, but you're not going to appreciate it on the same level that I did. I think it's great. And he actually included these stickers here. Here's two of them. I think I got four of them, but I think the other ones are downstairs. But that's really cool. I mean, I really love having those little extra tchotchkes, you know? So check out in the description below. I'll definitely put a link where you can support Jeff's stuff. Alright, now let's get started here with some other things. I think that might be all that I have from actual members. Everything else I either got through the mail, through Ollie's, or from my actual local comic store. Art in Time is a Dan Nadel book. Let me not bump the camera here. This is basically comics from a previous generation. Like it goes up from the 40s to the 80s. And it has, let's see, H.D. Peter, Harry Lucy, who from Archie fame, doing either a crime or a romance story. I didn't read this yet. It looks like more like crime than romance to me. I'll have to check that one out. But it basically is guys that, while like guys from the kayfabe group might know who these people are, or from Outstanding Achievement might know these guys, the general comic fan doesn't know what the hell we're talking about. Like Pat Boyette, there's another one. Oh, sorry, I bumped the camera. I just said I wouldn't do that, but here you go. This is Willie Mendez. This stuff I had not seen before. I think it's really, really awesome. I really dig the way the black and white contrast each other. It's great stuff, you know. Look at those stars. That's really cool. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's the back. It features Pat Boyette, Bill Everett, Matt Fox, Sam Glanzman, Harry Lucy, Jesse Marsh, Michael McMillan, Willie Mendez, Mort Meskin, Pete Morosi, H.G. Peter, Sharon Rudall, John Stanley, John Thompson. I'd say I've actually heard of less than half of these people. But after I read this book, I plan on familiarizing myself with those artists. Next, this one I got at the comic store in Lancaster. That's the one I always talk about that Tim Truman shops at. But this is the John Romita's biography. It's like a long interview, I believe, with Johnny Romita. And I'm a big fan of his stuff. I recently posted that his stuff is the equivalent of the Archie generic style at Marvel. And I mean that as a compliment. Like, he really simplified things and made sense of all these complicated designs and made it so these new artists could really look at these and know what they need to do. Well, here we go. I think this is the initial picture of the Punisher. Yeah, it says John's original 1973 design for the Punisher. So that's really cool. Over here, let me get this over here. Over here are his initial drawings of Wolverine, and here's the Herb Trimpe picture as well. Shout out to the Trimpes. I'll put a link to their group as well. Really nice people, and they really took it the ball and ran with it. Then I see a collaboration with John and John Jr. here. That's really awesome. But yeah, I actually can't find this for cheap online. That's one of the cool things. All right, then we have some of the Ollie stuff that I grabbed. First is one of the Oz volumes. It's Dorothy and the Wizard in Oz by L. Frank Baum, but really by Eric Schanauer and Scotty Young. I really love Scotty's stuff. It's really refreshing that he doesn't do the photorealist bullcrap that you see in most books these days. And well, you know what you're getting with that. You know his style; it's very familiar. Then I got Miracle Man. This is book 2. I actually had an old version of book 1, but I've actually bought that one as well in the new Marvel format. Now, the colors are really, really shitty. I don't appreciate these. I'm sorry to whoever the colorist is. You know, you did a good enough job, but I want the original colors. The reason I bought this was first of all, it was what, $7? $6.99. Alright, I bought this for the back matter. Check this out. These are actually reprints of the original art. They must have had photostats of the pencils and of the inks as well, or maybe they actually took pictures of the original inks. Not sure, but yeah, some of this is reproduced and it's for the first time and on nice quality paper. So I don't really give a crap about the rest of the book and the main story. I can just read that. I can bootleg it online if I really want to see the original stuff. But this is really cool to see the actual artwork, even shrunken down. It's like having an artist edition mini, you know. All right, let's see what else I have. Well, speaking of Tim Truman, this is a 400-page collection of everything he did for Jonah Hex that I know of. Maybe there's something out there that I don't know of, or promotional materials. I have no idea. All I know is this was $4.99. How could I say no? Tim is actually from my hometown of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So in a way, you're supporting the locals in a way. Let's take a look at this. This is like some gruesome stuff here. It's everything you want in an outlaw book and more. I remember there was a lot of coverage in Wizard back in the day because of lawsuits that held it up because of some band or something. I don't know the details, or at least I don't remember the details. It's been like 20 something years. But yeah, that's vicious. This is great stuff. Can't wait to actually get to that and not just have it on my bookshelf. Then my mom picked this one up, but we're both like Twin Peaks fans. I think she watched. Well, I know she watched the third season or the wrap up season, but I don't think she got it the way I got it. Not that I got it. Nobody really got it at first without reading all the things online. Then I got the Smithsonian collection of newspaper comics. I'm probably not going to even open this because it's going to bump the camera. Needless to say, this covers literally everybody and everything from back in the day. This is what, 300 something pages? I don't know. I don't see a page number here. Oh, there we go. 311. And that was pretty close to the end that I checked out there. This was like $10, and it's in really awesome condition. The corners are not even bent. The dust jacket is really nice and well preserved. I think somebody just stumbled onto a book collector's things and found this one. But it's really awesome. It contains the actual strips. Gives you a little sample of everybody. From a lot of people from back in the day. Okay, then we have Miracle Man Book 1. That's still wrapped in plastic. Speaking of Twin Peaks. And then we have probably the crown jewel of the stuff that I got this month, which is Art Out of Time, which is also by Dan Adel. This is the first volume of Art in Time, but it's much more interesting. This covers the years 1900 to 1969, whereas the newer book covers 1940 to 1980. So by that time, a lot of comics history was already figured out, like what you could do with cartooning that had already been established. And there have been many innovations over the years, but this volume really is like the settling down of all of the craziness that came before it. Like that. I mean, that's just the front piece there, and that's really cool. Okay, this is let's see. Okay, let me just name the people I know: Ogden Whitney, Bob Powell, Milt Gross, Fletcher Hanks. I've never actually owned a Fletcher Hanks book before, so it's cool to get a taste of that. Rory Hayes, I think everybody knows. Harry Hirschfield, Booty Rogers, and that's all I know. Everybody else really is literally an unknown artist to me. Let me jump ahead a bit. Let's get to the good stuff. That's the Spirit, which we've all seen that stuff. Wasn't that the Spirit? I think it was. Well, first here's Herbie. I've actually done some Herbie art lately just for fun, for shits and giggles. We'll see where that leads. But I've always loved I haven't always loved Herbie's stuff, but I've never read it before. It was just like I wanted a character that was a superhero or whatever, or something stupid like that. And I never really gave him a shot until last year, and I was blown away at how funny it was. The humor is not dated at all. I really appreciate it. I really like this guy. This is Walter Quaterman. I like his style. It's very crisp. And of course, everyone instantly can recognize Milton Gross. He is the opposite of the guy we were just looking at. He's very cartoony. The stuff is very alive. Then we have some strips here. This is Stan McGovern. Oh, here's Dick Briefer. Yeah, he does those Frankenstein comics where Frankenstein looks pretty crazy. I mean, look at that. Those proportions are great. I love that. This is Jack Mendelson. I don't really know his stuff. It looks like it would be a fun read, though. I like the fish here in the cake. There's Garrett Price. All right, there's the Rory Hayes we all know and love. Nice black and white stuff. All right, let's jump ahead again. That's Cecil Jensen. I don't know what's so revolutionary about this stuff. That looks just like an ordinary cartoon to me, but I think you'd have to really read it to appreciate whatever it makes it special. It's just 12 panels after 12 panels. Oh, there's Sparky Watts. Another strip I'm very fond of looking at. It's always crazy stuff. This is really awesome. This is Charles Foxbell. I really appreciate a crazy layout. Maybe it's just me, but I've always been a sucker for a great layout. It's kind of like when you watch pro wrestling, and you listen to Jim Cornette, and he doesn't appreciate the new fancy pants stuff. This is the equivalent of the new fancy pants stuff to me. Even though it's really, really old, it's really, really innovative. This is the kind of stuff that by this period in this other book, you're not going to see this kind of thing anymore in general. There's always going to be exceptions like a Chris Ware or Frank Miller doing like a Will Eiserisms. Okay, let's move on to the next book. All right, these are more chapters in the Wizard of Oz books. I have 3 total of them, and they're all things I acquired at Ollie's. I went to 3 different Ollie's during the last month, and I was able to see what they had to offer. I went to 2 in Lancaster. The first one I went to had a really great selection. I was blown away. The second one, not so much. I really had trouble even finding the section that had their comic books. But and then the third one was in Reading, and that one was somewhere in between the two as far as selection went. But it's cool to have more of these Scotty Young books. All right, then I got Grant Morrison's Marvel Boy. I think I had this miniseries, except for the last chapter. Somehow, that eluded me. But I really want to read this one. I do find Grant Morrison to be fairly entertaining, despite his lately there's a lot of Grant Morrison bashing, but I really appreciate him. All right, here we have one of the Superman Archives volume. This is volume 3. I think I already put volume 5 away on the bookshelf. But just take my word for it, I have it. It's still wrapped in plastic. is only $9.99. It's usually $50, so I consider that a steal. But I also go to Hamilton Books online, and they have a bunch of the spirit trays for $11.99. They don't have one or two, but starting with three, they have a good like 10 or 12 of them consecutively after that. I've considered buying that. At this point, though, I have the Spirit magazines, so I gotta basically spend wisely. So here is we're getting pretty close to the end here. We have Batman Black and White. This is one of the books that I bought mostly because of the editor, Mark Chiarello, who I have a lot of respect for. Everything that he touches is up my alley. So much appreciation and much love to that guy. I can't believe DC let him go. Not a very smart company, but what do you expect from a company that can take this kind of gold? Like there's Mobius, the Alex Toth, there's Corbin, there's Walt Simonson. So this is all for sale. It's a remaindered book for $3.99. That is stupid. Only a couple left to go. I got these two volumes as a box set. I think it was like $8. I only needed one of these for my chronological reread, but I'm not gonna beat that price, especially not online. Every single volume I've gotten has been the paperback edition. I'm not stuck with any of the hardbacks. So this is about but 7 years into this, and Snoopy is still a little off model. He's starting to take shape, but he's just a bit off there. All right, and this is the last one that I'll probably show you on camera. I actually have this and a collection of New Yorker cartoons that's so enormous that I don't even want to bring it up here. It's a huge collection and it's still wrapped in the plastic, so I can't even show it off anyway. But I can show off this. This is a collection of Frank Quitely stories from DC Comics. Oh, and also has the covers, of course. Here's a cover that is actually signed by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, but it's a copy, so it's kind of stupid. Alright, the first thing they have in here, as far as the stories go, are from those big books that they put out, like the Big Book of Hoaxes, the Big Book of Conspiracies. And you can see the man that we all came to know and love, but he's not as refined as he once was. The New Toys was in Weird War Tales. I have that issue. I really was into Frank Quitely at the time. Here's Vamps covers. I guess they're Vamps covers. Here's another one of those stories, big book stories. And he did some Spider Jerusalem covers for Transmetropolitan. Oh, I guess he must have done a short story. The Elephant Man. I think this is from Flex Mentala. Maybe not. This might just be a short story. And yet another big book. And another big book. But as you can see, this is not like your traditional Frank Quitely book where you see the actual artwork. In this case, you get a lot of the stories. Here's that story of Batman he did. What was that called? I don't see it, but I have bad eyes. I can't really read the small print. But I wonder if they have the whole thing here. Well, here's chapter 2. So maybe that is concluded. So this was a pretty good investment then. This was like $10 for this hardcover. What is the original price? Let me see. Oh, $39.99. So that's a pretty good investment on a nice hardcover book. Well, there you have it. There's everything that I've gotten pretty much, with the exception of one of the Superman volumes and the New Yorker volumes that are too large for the camera. If you like what you've seen, or if you're curious about buying those books by Jeff Manley or Jeffrey Manley, check out the links below. All right, so like and subscribe, yada yada yada, and we'll see you next time on Outstanding Achievement.